Hello students, in the last lecture we finished the addressing modes of 8086 microprocessor, and here we are going to start mm, some examples related to the addressing modes, okay, or basically how to calculate the effective address or physical address in different addressing modes. So there are several examples in this PDF, and we may see here indirect addressing mode. Okay, so instruction given is move AX 5000H. So in this instruction directly address is given, so addressing mode will be a direct addressing mode. Then how to calculate the effective address is given here. It is always written like that, ds double dot offset. So we 1000, suppose ds is given as 1000H and offset address is given as 5000H. okay, so if you want to calculate the effective address, multiply the segment address by 10, so that it will be shifted by 1 bit in hex or 4 bit in binary to the left position. Okay, and then add the offset address, and the effective address you are getting is 20 bit or 5 bit in hex. Okay, so second example, move ax dot bx. Okay, so register indirect. In why it is indirect? Because bx contains the address of the data. Bx register pair contains the address of the data. Okay, so again you want to calculate the effective address, ds and double dot bx, that is 1000H, and bx holds the data 2000, and this is the address of the data. The content of the bx is 2000, which is address, and it is the address of the data. Okay, if you want to calculate the now effective address, again you have to multiply the segment register with 10. Always you have to perform for everywhere in each addressing mode, you need to multiply it with 10, it by 10, so that it will be shifted to the left position by 4 bit. Because in 8086 your address bus is 20 bit, so if you are considering a whole memory, each address will be representing physically 20 bit, but inside that memory there are multiple segments. In the last lectures I already told that there can be total 16 segments, out of which only 4 segments are defined. Other memory is freed for the other operations. Okay, and along with the segments there are several offset addresses for each of the segment. Like for data segment you have IP or BP, base pointer or index pointer. Okay, so index registers and base registers, base pointer registers basically contains the offset addresses for the segment registers. Okay, so in register indirect addressing mode you want to calculate. So in this example, see here, ds is multiplied by 10. So previously it was 1000, and after multiplying 10 it becomes 10,000. Okay, so now it is 5 bit in hex. Okay, so now add this bx here, bx contains 2000, so your effective address will become 12,000. Okay, so if you will expand it in binary, it will be of 20 bit. Register relative. Okay, remember, where in any of the addressing mode relative terms comes, definitely there will be displacement content. Okay, so displacement content here is 5000. Okay, so you need to add you need to, if you want to calculate the effective address, ds and effective default address, or that is the offset, default address, not default address, offset address will be contained by 5000 plus bx. Okay, so always displacement content should be added to the bx or IP, base pointer or index register or bx. Okay, so ds 10 multiplied with segment register becomes 10,000. Offset address you are adding 5000, and bx contains 2000, so finally you are getting effective address at 17,000. Okay, so next one is base indexed. Okay, in base indexed, always remember based index, either you are getting in the operands there will be a base pointer BP or BX and any one of the index register. Okay, so for this instruction, okay, so base index register move AX BX comma SI. Okay, so in this instruction, in the operands you may observe here that there may be base pointer BP or BX along with index registers like source index. Okay, so if you are so BX plus SI will contain the offset address for the segment register. Okay, BX plus SI means content of BX plus content of SI will give you the offset address for the segment register. So see here, it is written clearly here. So this is the offset address. Okay. Then again multiplying segment register by 10 and you are getting final effective address as 15,000 H. Relative base index, remember the term relative is coming here, so definitely there will be some displacement content. Okay, so 5,000 is coming. Based index, based means definitely there will be one base pointer or BX register, so BX is there. Index term is coming, so there is index register. Okay, so in this case if you want to calculate the offset address, so offset address will be given by addition of all these instructions, that is 5,000 plus content of the BX plus content of the source index. Okay, and this offset address will be added to the shifted segment address and the result will be effective address will be in 20 bit. Okay. Again pin diagram of the 8086 microprocessor. So in pin, before going to the pin diagram of the 8086 microprocessor, remember all the pins in 8086 microprocessor are divided in different categories. Okay, so definitely to minimize the hardware requirement, multiple pins should be multiplex with the different pins, means a single pin can function in different can be used for different purposes. Okay, either it is 0, it will be meaning for something, either it is 1, it will meaning for something. Okay, so in single pin you can multiplex multiple functions. Okay, so that's why 8086 is a very advanced processor compared to 8085 processor, you know? While both of them are having only 40 pins. So remember, in 40 pins of 8086 microprocessor, many functions are multiplexed in the single pins. Okay, so signal description of 8086. The 8086 is a 16-bit microprocessor. The microprocessor operates in single processor or multiple processor configuration to achieve high performance. Okay, so this was the first microprocessor after 8085 who came, that it can be operated in a single processor mode or multiple processor mode. Means in a system configuration you can use multiple 8086 processors. Okay, and specific pins will be allotted for the this mode of operation. Okay, this is the basically called the minimum mode and maximum mode. Okay, if your processor is operating singly, means a single processor is operating, it is in minimum mode, and if multi-processor mode is multi-processors are operating in the system configuration, then it is maximum mode. So 8086 signals of the 8086 are categorized in 3 categories. Okay, common signals means pins or signals which are common for both minimum mode and maximum mode. Special signals which are meant only for the minimum mode, and special signals which are meant only for the maximum mode. Okay, so all the signal pins are divided in 3 groups. Means some of the pins are common for both the modes, and some of the pins are specific to any of the mode. Okay, so common signals. Lower address and data bus are multiplex, and these can be separated by ALE signal. Okay. Upper address bus, that is AD15 to AD8, are again multiplex and can be separated by signal ALE. Okay, so ALE signal we already studied in 8085 microprocessor. If this is 1, means uh, you may free the address bus from the data bus. Okay, and if it is 0, then the data bus and address bus are multiplex. Okay. Now, actually, in 8086, the total address buses are basically size of the address buses 20 bits. Okay, so only up to 16 D0 to D16 are multiplex with A0 to A16. Means 16 bits of the address are multiplex with 16 bits of the data bus. Okay, and remaining A16 to A19, that is 4 address bus, are multiplex with some other functions. Okay, so it is printed here wrong. This is A16. Okay, so A16 to A19, there are pins, that is A18 AS3, A19 S6. Okay, so again these are multiplex with signal pins S3 and S6. Okay, so to add the address status, means address and status bus bits are multiplex to provide the address signals A19 to A16 and also stated bits. Okay, so stated bits are S3 to S6 and address bus are from A16 to A19. Okay, ठीक है. The address bus are separated from the status bus using the ALE signal. Okay, so status pins and address buses are multiplex, which can be separated from the status pins by using ALE signal. The status bit S6 is always a logic 0, means S6 is always logic 0 bit. Bit S5 indicate the condition of the interrupt flag. Okay, so S5 will be representing the status of the interrupt flag. Okay, among 9 flags, there was one pin that is interrupt flag. Okay, so S6 is set to 0 always, S5 indicates the interrupt flag, and S4 S3 indicate the which segment register is presently being used for the memory. Okay, so S4 S3, there are 4 segments, so S4 S3 can be 00, 01, 10 and 11. So for each configuration there will be one segment address. Okay, so if S4 S3 are 00, the segment register is extra segment. Okay, if S4 S3 are 01, stack segment. If S4 S3 are 10, code segment. If S4 and S3 are 11, it is data segment. Okay, so status pins S3 to S6 are having this type of meaning. Okay, so repeating, if S6 the status signal bit S6 is always 0 at logic 0, bit S5 indicate the interrupt flag, and S3 and S4 indicate the which segment register is presently used for the memory access. Okay, so this is the pin diagram. Next one is the BHE bar and S7. Okay, so another status signal S7 is multiplex with BHE bar. Okay, so one pin can act as a status pin and also can act as a BHE. Okay, the bus high enable BHE signal is used to indicate the transfer of data over the higher order. Okay, so if this pin, that is BHE bar oblique S7 is 0, then definitely it will be working as a bus high enable. Okay, so means data will be transferred to the higher order data bus. Okay, if this signal if it goes low for the data transfer over D15 to D8 and is used to derive the chip select of the odd address memory bank or peripherals. Okay, So not much importance of this topic, you may also skip. Okay. Another ready pin is used for synchronizing slow and fast peripherals. Okay. INTR is interrupt request, is used to request a hardware interrupt of INTR. Okay. If it is high, when interrupt flag is set. If it is low, no interrupt is acknowledged. Test var signal, this input is tested by wait instruction. Okay. If the test input goes low, execution will continue, else the processor remains in idle state. Okay. If this signal is low, execution will be continued. Okay. Otherwise, processor will be in idle state. Okay. So remember the function of the test var pin. Okay. If this is low, then execution is continued. Otherwise, processor is in idle mode. Okay. NMI, non-maskable interrupts. Okay. If this pin is set to logic 1, non-maskable interrupts are acknowledged. Okay. Reset, the reset pin causes the microprocessor to reset itself. Okay, when 8086 reset, it restart the execution from the memory location FF0H. Okay, basically top to bottom. clock in and clock out. Okay, supply voltage is 5 volt and ground pin. MN/MX bar. Okay, if this pin is 1, means your 8086 microprocessor is operating in minimum mode. Okay, if this pin is grounded or at logic 0, your microprocessor is operating in maximum mode. Okay, so MN/MX bar is deciding which mode of operation is going on inside the processor. So this topic is quite important for the exam purpose. So minimum mode signals, there are specific pins which are used for minimum mode operation. Okay. M input output bar. Okay, that is means memory or input output. Okay, if this pin is 1, it is for memory. If this pin is 0, it is for input output operation. INTA bar, interrupt acknowledge. Okay, if this pin is 0, means interrupt is acknowledged, otherwise skip it. Okay. ALE signal is used for minimum mode operation. Okay. DTR, data transmit or receive. Okay, if this pin is 1, data is transmitted. If this pin is 0, data will be received. Okay, decide the direction of the data flow. Okay, so 1 means outside the microprocessor, data going outside from microprocessor to the memory, or if this is 0, the data will be coming to the microprocessor. Okay. DEN bar, data enable. Data bus enable signal indicate the availability of the valid data over the address data lines. Okay, so if this pin is set to 0, it will validate the data over the address or data lines. Write var, write operation. Hold, the hold input request, hold signal is for DMA, direct memory access. Okay. HLDA means buses are granted or hold is acknowledged, indicate the 8086 has entered into hold state. Now pins for the pins or signals for the maximum mode operations. Okay, in maximum mode operations, that this mode of operation is basically multiprocessor mode. Okay, so status lines S0, S1, S2 bar, S0 bar, S1 bar, S2 bar. Okay, these are the status lines that reflect the type of operation being carried out by the processor. These status lines are encoded as. Okay, so there are 3 pins, so there will be total 8 combination. So if S0 bar, S1 bar, S2 bar are 0, interrupt is acknowledged. For which mode? Maximum mode. Okay, if 1, read from input output port. Okay, if it is 2, write into input output port. Okay, so if it is 3, there will be halt condition 0 1 1, that is 3. Okay, 100 code access, 5 read from the memory, 6 write into the memory, 6 passive or inactive mode. Passive or inactive mode. Okay. Passive means it is self-operated, or inactive mode it is operated by some other ones. Okay. Lock. The lock output is used to lock peripherals of the system. That is, the other system bus master will be prevented from gaining the system bus. Okay. In lock operation mode, other system bus master will be prevented for gaining the system bus, because system buses are always into the control of microprocessor. Okay. So there are more pins. That is the Q status, QS1, QS0. Okay. So these pins are used for the pipelining concept. Okay. So if you are placing the instructions in the queue, okay, how many instructions you can place in 8086 microprocessor? There are 6. Okay. So queue status will be 00, no operation, queue is idle, means nothing is there in the queue. Okay. 01, first byte of opcode. 10, queue is empty. Okay. So QS0, QS1, QS0, no operation, queue is in idle mode. Okay. There is instructions, but no operation will be performed. Okay. If this is set to 1, means QS0, QS1, that is 1001, first byte of the opcode will be transferred. Okay. Because instruction contains opcode and operands. Okay. So you are always storing the type of task in the queue, or instruction in the queue. Okay. So 01, first byte of the opcode. So opcode size may be your 1, 2 or 3 byte. Okay. So if it is 01, first byte of the opcode will be transferred. 10, it will show that queue is empty, no instruction is stored in the queue at all. 11, subsequent byte of the opcode. Okay. Means current byte which is coming to the queue will be executed. Okay. Another pins for maximum mode operation, request and grant pins. Okay. So there are also 2 request and grant pins, RQ bar, GT1 bar, RQ bar, GT0 bar. Okay. The request grant pins are used by other local bus master to force the processor to release the local bus at the end of processor current bus cycle. Okay. These lines are bidirectional and are used to both request and grant a DMA operation. Okay. So request and grant are basically used for the DMA operation, means to ask for the buses and make them available for the DMA operation. Okay. Now, so these were the pins used for the maximum mode and minimum mode. Okay. So these are the specific pins which are specific to the particular mode. Okay. So now there can be asked difference between the minimum mode of operation or maximum mode of operation, or it may be asked explain the mode of operation of the 8086 microprocessor. So you need to answer these questions from here. Okay. So you need to explain this, and you may skip the timing diagram and this diagram also, but you need to write some points. Okay. And this is the for maximum mode. Okay. So let us see one by one. Okay. So minimum mode operation. Okay. In minimum mode operation, 8086 is operating in single processor mode, means in the system configuration only there is one microprocessor. Okay. MN MX bar, this pin is set to logic 1 to operate the microprocessor in minimum mode. Okay. In this mode, all the control signals are given out by microprocessor chip itself. Okay. Means all the control operations are performed by the microprocessor itself. Okay. So remember one concept: if the task is divided by multiple pins, then if you are giving less burden to the microprocessor, definitely it will be fast. But in minimum mode operation, maximum tasks or maximum work is performed by the microprocessor. So it is busy in somewhere, so it will be relatively less fast than compared to the maximum mode operation. Okay. So control signals are given out by the microprocessor chip itself. Okay, so there is a single microprocessor in the minimum mode system. So in minimum mode system always there is a single microprocessor. The remaining components in the system are latches, transceiver, clock generators, memory and IO devices. Okay, so latches, transceiver, clock generator, memory, IO devices always in the control of the single processor. Some type of chip selection logic may be required for selecting memory or IO devices depending upon the address map of the system. Okay, chip selection logic, there can be different concept for selection of the chip. That is basically decoder or encoder functions are used for chip selection logic. Okay, so there can be different logics for this. General system organization, this is the diagram for the minimum mode 8086 system. If you can remember, it is very good, or you may also skip it. If it is not asked to draw the diagram of the minimum mode operation, you may skip it. Okay, so the latches are generally buffered output D type flip flops. So latches always made from the D type flip flop. Okay, and the IC number for this is given here, 74LS373 or 8282. They are used for separating the valid address from the multiplex address data signals and are controlled by ALE signal generated by 8086. Okay. Since it has 20 address lines and 16 data lines, the 8086 CPU requires 3 octal address latches and 2 octal data buffers for the complete address and data separation. Okay, so basically total address bus are 20 and data bus are 16. So 3 octal address means one latch of the 8 bit. Okay, one latch of 8 bit means 3 latches for the address bus and 2 8-bit data buffers for the data. Okay, transceivers are the bidirectional buffers, and sometimes they are called as data amplifiers. They are required to separate the valid data from the time multiplex address data signals. Okay, transceivers means transmission and reception. Okay, so these can be bidirectional buffers. They are controlled by 2 signals, namely DEN and DTR. Okay, data enable and data transmit or receive. The system contains memory for the monitor and user program storage. Usually EPROMs are used for monitor storage. Okay, erasable, programmable, read-only memories are used for the data storage. Okay, so not permanently, it is erasable. Okay, nowadays in the microcontrollers or in every processor there is a flash memory. You can write program and you can erase it by electrically. Okay, so read all the points for the minimum mode operation. Okay, timing diagram, if you can do this, otherwise you may skip it. Okay, maximum mode system operation with timing diagram. In maximum mode, 8086 operated by deciding M and MX far pin. Okay, if it is ground and this pin is grounded, means it is operating in maximum mode. Okay, okay, so in this mode of operation, microprocessor, there are more than one microprocessor in the system configuration. Okay, the other components in the system are same as in minimum mode systems, means individual processor will be having the same same type of pins as in minimum mode of operation. Okay, the basic function of the Next point, the basic functions of bus controller chip IC8288. Okay, in minimum mode configuration, bus controller function is performed by itself microprocessor, but in maximum mode operation, bus control there is another bus control chip, that is IC8288. Okay, so that's why it makes it fast processing. Okay, is to drive this bus control drives control signals like read and write bar for memory and IO devices. Okay, and then data enable DT R bar ALE etc. Okay, so bus controller chip is controlling the signals read write, then data transfer, data transmission and reception, and ALE signals etc. Okay, the bus controller chip has input lines. So the input lines of the bus controller chips are S0 bar, S1 bar and S2 bar and clock. Okay, these inputs to 88888 are driving by the CPU. It derives the output signals. ALE, then DTR bar, MWTC, MRDC, IORC and IOWC. Okay, C means clock. Okay, memory read clock, memory write clock. Okay, input output read clock, input output write clock and INTA bar. Okay, INTA bar pin is used to issue two interrupt acknowledge plus pulses to the interrupt controller or to an interrupting device. Okay, so whenever is that is interrupt is acknowledged, this pin will show the active low signal. Okay, so additional these 2 points are given here. Okay, at least you may write 4 to 5 points for each of the mode. So next topic according to the syllabus we will cover in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.